What's going on, Pokemon trainers? So we are 53 weeks into Pokemon Horizons. 53 episodes, 53 weeks. Actually, it's more than 53 weeks. At this point, we had a couple of different pauses in the season. So, we're roughly a year and a half, into Pokemon Horizons. I think Pokemon Horizons started in April 2023, I think it was. So we're roughly, about a year and a couple of months. I said a year and a half. That's 18. I can't do math. A year and a couple of months into Pokemon Horizons at this point. And, not every episode is equal to the next episode. Some are amazing. Some are, filler. Some are gap episodes. Some are contextual episodes. Some are episodes that keep moving the plot forward, and we're now in the third arc of Pokemon Horizons. So all this buildup is to say I didn't really like this episode very much. Now, don't let it take away from anything, because there is one very crucial thing that happened this episode, which was Hatenna evolving into Hattrem. And I'm a big Hatterene fan. I absolutely love Hatterene. I think she is a awesome Pokemon. Hatterene was on my Sword and Shield team. Hatterene is on my Sword and Shield team. Hatterene was on my Trick Room team. I love Hatterene. I have multiple different shiny ones that have different purposes. And I have transitioned the Hatterene into Scarlet and Violet. But in Scarlet and Violet, I haven't really competed online at all. I've played a few matches here and there. But in Sword and Shield, I ended up in Ultra Ball. I think they went by balls. At that point, I ended up in Ultra Ball, and I really loved using Hatterene quite a bit. Definitely one of my go-tos, Hatterene and Indeedee. Those are a couple of my go-tos in Sword and Shield, much like a lot of other people, I think, as well, too. But I did fairly well with them. So I definitely have a lot of love for Hatenna and for Hattrem and for Hatterene specifically. But I didn't have it in my bingo card today with Hatenna evolving. Now, you might say, well, Dom, if one of your favorite Pokemon evolved, what's the big deal, broski? And the big deal is the rest of the episode was kind of boring. It was centered around Annihilate, and I was pretty disappointed in one specific fact, and that is, as a Pokemon trainer myself, right? I think we can all kind of say, hey, I'm a Pokemon trainer, you're a Pokemon trainer. If you play the games, you're a Pokemon trainer yourself. If you just watch the anime, sorry, you don't qualify. I'm just kidding. But if you play the game, you probably feel pretty passionate about being a trainer yourself, And with that same thing is Hattrem goes in and lays the smackdown on 3 Annihilates. And I don't know if you guys can count, but there is 1, 2, 3 Annihilates and 1, 2, 3 trainers. They should have all thrown a Pokeball. Now, on top of that, you know what I mean? Okay, so I struggle at math. On top of that, there was a whole horde of Mankeys and Primates fresh to be caught as well. So it's not anything specific to Horizons. It's just Pokemon in general. I think Journeys quelled a lot of this a little bit because of Ash's partner during Journeys, who was just kind of yeeting Pokeballs at everything. But I do think sometimes, these kids in the show that are being depicted is yo, put your hat on for 2 seconds. You got to Annihilate that is woozy doozy over there. You could throw any ball you could throw a rock and it'll catch it. Throw the ball. Get yourself a nice Annihilate to your team. An Annihilate is a big win to your team. And let's say you're oh, Annihilate is too much, too scary, blah, blah, blah. Well, you got a Mankey or a Primate over there fresh to be caught in. And if you guys remember Ash's Primate, it's a good Pokemon to have. I love Annihilate. I think in Scarlet and Violet, Annihilate's awesome. One of my favorite Pokemon, one of my favorite new Paldean Pokemon. So it's catch the Pokemon. So that was my big issue with the episode, is just I find it cute. They helped out the Mankeys and the Primates and the Annihilate. They fixed the vine. They created them some stairs and some ladders and stuff. I think it was a cute thing. I also did really enjoy the fact that, hey, when you or me are logging in and playing Scarlet and Violet, there's only so many variations to our uniforms, our aesthetics, and our clothes that we can have. But there's a chance that I have a created character and you have a created character, and we look pretty similar. And that's just the way that the games are. It's like there's a lot of individuality we can have, but at the end of the day, we're going to look pretty similar, especially if we decide to pick the same like uniform or something like that. So I love how this episode depicted that and saying like, hey, there's these other Orange Academy of students, and they're going in a group of 3, and they look to the T almost the same as Dot, 𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿, and Roy. They look almost exactly the same as those 3. And like even similar Pokemon, right? Like one had like a Darmanitan, and I forget the other Pokemon that they had, but they look so similar. And I found it funny. And even the Mankeys were like, "Yo, you guys are the ones that effed us up." And I thought that was a cute tidbit and a throwback to the games, because like at the end of the day, we all kind of create similar characters, and I thought that was pretty interesting and a really cool little thing. So I do really like that this episode. But the rest of the episode, I was just I was a little bit bored. I mean, I was watching, but it wasn't like, taking my breath away or anything. So it was a fine episode of Pokemon Horizons. So anyways, let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. I think I missed a couple of other, maybe like key points. Dot didn't open her mouth. I don't think I heard Dot speak at all this episode. So maybe I missed another couple of important facts and stuff. We saw the primates evolving to annihilate, not the way they're described in the Pokedex, which I thought that was an interesting tidbit as well too, because it basically they get so mad they die, and then that's what causes them to evolve. But maybe that did happen. I don't know. They were just kind of fighting with each other, and then they evolved. But at the end of the day, Hatchrim. We have Hatchrim now in the thing. It was very sad that you couldn't get into 𝐿𝐴𝐶𝐿's sweater. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode down in the comments below. I would say this was a very mid episode, very 6 out of 10 episode. But again, we're 53 episodes in. Totally okay. Anyways, talked a lot of shit this episode. So let me know your guys' thoughts, and I'll see you guys next week, my friends. Peace out. Stay up. Have a great week.